Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a front brake pad change on my 2003 Honda Odyssey. So what you're going to need here is a 19mm socket to undo all of these wheel nuts. Highly recommend this little 4-piece one, or just any of them, doesn't matter how generic it is, you just get a lot of torque off those bad boys. Because obviously when you need to get the nut off, you need to nut off. Once you find the jack point, so it's generally just under here, and when I say generally I mean only, just behind the tyre there, you'll see a little bit of a nub that sticks out. Just make sure you've got a generico one like mine and not a factory one, that it's to the right setting, because there's a couple of settings it has. So anyway, once you get puffed out, because you've been to the gym in like 5 months a couple of times and finish jacking up the car, you should be about ready to get going with all steam ahead sort of thing. Luckily I put this in fast motion and cut out a couple of me going for a bit of a water break, but you know, all is fair in love and war in brake pad changes. Okay, great. Now that we've got that fully up, you don't need it too far off the ground. Just about I don't know, you probably want 4 or 5 centimeters off the ground of clearance from the wheel to the floor. And just remember, lefty loosey, righty tighty. Take those nuts straight off. And yeah, just 5 stud on this one. Just like if I was to multiply myself, 5 stud. And yeah, big tip with especially these enclosed wheel nuts is just to make sure everything's clean before you put it on. You'll see, I didn't actually catch it on video, but a couple of times I actually sprayed through with WD-40 or whatever, just to make sure there's no sand or anything like that. Because if you do snap one of these wheel studs, you're gonna have a long, like a terrible day. It's nobody, like, even finding the brake pads for this car, people were kind of condescending, just because you can legally vote. They're like, oh, you want a part for what? I say, hey man, it gets me to work, who cares? But so yeah, trying to find a wheel stub for this, people aren't really going to find the time for you, and you're probably going to go to 3 or 4 stores, and it's going to take a bit of work. So yeah, as you can see, I tried attempting this with just a basic socket, put a bit of force on it. Off camera I hit it with a hammer a lot, and then tried it with the wrench, give a bit of brake cleaner, a bit of WD-40, and then had to go with my my DACA tool, my little DeWalt Uzi, but unfortunately to no avail. So it just was not coming off. So luckily I was able to call down my little brother. Funnily enough, but I'm not quite sure if it comes off on camera or not, but you'll see in person, you'll see like there's just smoke coming off. It just didn't have the nuts to get this nut off, you know. So unfortunately it just didn't have that power to it. So my brother ended up coming down with a torque, like a big breaker bar, and giving us a bit of a hand in that way. But yeah, unfortunately I checked a couple of times. You see that I'm a bit hesitant because I don't want to snap the bolt. Been going the wrong way. So then here I'm like, okay, well L has to be L. But then I was thinking, it's back to front and upside down, so maybe L isn't L. But L is still L, right is still right. But when you're turning upside down and back to front, it's kind of the opposite way.
Yeah, there we go. Just need a brake bar.
Oh yeah. How'd you even find a place to put that on?
What do you mean?
Oh, it's got a swivel head.
Yeah, it moves around.
Sick. Alright guys, as promised, brother reveal at 100 subs. No, not really. It was just, yeah, unfortunately, yeah, just too much of a little lobster boy to get it done by myself. This video's been mirrored, but yeah, it's just, yeah, as I was saying before, you're actually kind of going to the right to tighten because it's upside down and back to front. So you'll see that you're spinning the nut to the right once it comes free. And then all we do from here is just a little bit of this blue little goop that you get from Bendix on the back of your brake pads, and it just stops them from squeaking. You'll see it's usually only about 99 cents or something like that. It just comes in like a little, almost like the same sort of size as a ketchup packet, and then just two 14mm bolts on the back of that, and she'll just come good. See her on the other side now, and again, return of the blue goop. You just slot those straight in there, so you'll see that there's, and then they're just held in by the caliper after that, and you just put on your two nuts. So this one was a little bit harder. What we did was we actually used a screwdriver instead of the Pacific tool to get it to open up that caliper. So you don't actually have to use, there's like a decompression tool. You don't actually have to use that. All you do is there's a little slot at the back of the brake caliper. You'll see, and you just wedge your screwdriver in there and just pull back on it. And then, as you saw then, it's actually not that tough just to put a little bit of body weight on it. If it's not quite open enough, and it'll just come from there. And then yeah, you just got those two little nuts at the back, the ones that you loosened before, 14mm bolt, sorry. And once that's all nice and tight, should be about ready to go. Alright, and you'll see after that initial bolt that you loosened off, you'll see that there's like a little like another little bolt in there as well, just behind it, but you can't actually undo it from there. You just put your wrench on there and then tighten up with the socket at the same time. Pump the brakes just to make sure they're nice and tight, and after that it's just a simple process of putting the wheel back on. Again, I say simple process, but I did get my brother to help me, so I guess take that with a grain of salt. But you know, it's always handy having a brother who's done a pre-op course in mechanics. Is just naturally gifted to this sort of thing and has way better tools than you have. But yeah, once she's back on, she should be about ready to go, and you're ready to ignore the broken disc for another 40,000 kilometers easy. And by then, this car may or may not be somebody else's issue. Of course, making sure to tighten diagonally, so you don't want to just tighten it lopsided. You kind of crisscross, get on that 19mm, and yeah, you don't want to, like, let's say you wouldn't just tighten up the left side with the nuts next to each other. You got to go diagonally, otherwise it's going to be lopsided. You're going to be into a world of hurt. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was somewhat instructional. Please give us a like and subscribe if you did so. Have a good night.